días, buenas tardes, and welcome to my channel, Divine Esme, where we talk a lot about healing the inner child, your inner wounds, and working towards developing your most authentic and most divine self. So today I want to take some time to honor Mental Health Month. As many of you may know, May is Mental Health Month and Mental Health Awareness Month. So we are sort of halfway through, almost towards the end of it. So I want to take some time to talk a little bit about the importance of Mental Health Month and what it can mean to a lot of different people, especially in the heights of what we're living in our society now. So if you'd love to hear more, please stay tuned. Hello everyone. So today I want to talk about Mental Health Month and what it means and kind of how it started. So Mental Health Awareness or Mental Health Month actually began back in the 1940s, around there, I think 1949. And basically this month is specifically dedicated to activism, to advocacy, and to really understanding the need of honoring mental health. And I think that throughout our society, there has been so much stigma when it comes to mental illness, when it comes to mental health, when it comes to actually not labeling people specifically, right? And how that can also hinder people's ability to recover, people's ability to seek help, to seek assistance, because they don't want to be necessarily labeled with diagnoses or put into a category of one size fit all, or they don't want to become a part of a statistic, right? So mental health awareness, why is it important? Why should we be honoring this month? Basically, this month just gives us a reminder, right? It's kind of just put there like National Hot Dog Day, National Donut Day, or whatever the case is, right? Nurses Week, Hospital Week, but it sort of brings up this idea of awareness and a pause for people to actually think about these things and to think about mental health. So is it something that we should celebrate only through a month? Absolutely not. It's something that we should be practicing throughout our life trajectory in general, overall, because at some given point, someone is going to be struggling with some type of mental health related symptom, right? Or issue. Many of us can go through different things in our lives that can put us in a place that we may have never been at before, that we necessarily didn't struggle with before. And now we're here in need of seeking assistance and seeking help. And I think that is extremely difficult sometimes for people to be able to seek help, not only because of the stigma surrounding mental health, but also just the comfort level of being able to meet with someone that you relate with, or someone that's going to be understanding some of these mental health related issues. And what I mean by that is looking more so into people that are seeking therapeutic environments for, you know, the Latinx community, for folks in the African American community, Indigenous community. I mean, the list can go on. There are folks that sometimes struggle to be able to go in and seek help because they want to make sure that they can see someone that they can relate with or that they can share things with, right? Things that may not be seen by someone who is not identifying in that culture, right? Or let me just say this, right? It's not necessarily someone that's not identifying in that culture, but it could be someone that is not an expert in cultural sensitivity, because cultural sensitivity sort of drives me, it drives my practice. So if there is someone that comes to me and I'm not familiar with their culture, I'm not familiar with their background, it's important to be able to talk to the client and ask them to teach you about their culture, to teach you about their identity, to teach you about these cultural things that have governed their lives and that are a part of their lives, right? Because we might not necessarily know those things, and it's okay not to know those things, because clients are an expert of their experience. You are an expert of your life and what happens. And you are also an expert of your upbringing, of teaching some of these things to your therapist. And there are folks that sometimes feel uncomfortable even educating professionals because they don't want to come off in a way of, well, you don't want to cause any type of restriction or any type of confrontation between you and your therapist. But let me tell you, clients that are able to do that, are able to advocate for themselves and sit down and tell their therapist, no, that's not really what I'm thinking, or no, that's not really what, it means to be in my culture, right? Because again, we're not looking at a one size fit all or at a research paper and categorizing everyone on this one category. It's important for you to be able to talk to those folks about those things. And if you do have the ability to talk to your therapist about those things, it should be a learning moment. It should be a place of comfort for you, right? As you're going in to talk to someone at your most vulnerable time, it's important to be able to share those things with your therapist. And a therapist that is extremely good understands these things, and they don't take, the offense to these things. They don't say, well, this person's a know-it-all, this person's that. No, you are an expert of your experience, and that's what should guide treatment. That's what makes therapy successful. When someone is able to be comfortable in their skin, when someone is able to be comfortable to share these things with their therapist without feeling any type of judgment, resentment, or it sort of putting a little break in therapy. It should not be that way. So I hope that, folks are able to feel comfortable to talk about their therapist with these things and really, challenge them on these things to learn them, because it is part of our ethical duty to understand our clients and not to categorize them in a one size fit all. So that's one thing I want to talk about in the therapeutic environment. Also, in understanding that life happens even for us professionals, right? That we are human too. And I think in helping professions, sometimes it's really easy for us to, sort of be on the go and sort of do things in the betterment of our clients, but not necessarily putting us in that same position where we have to take care of ourselves to be able to provide to our clients, right? To be able to give ourselves to our clients in a way that's going to be conducive and that's going to drive that therapeutic environment. So if the therapist is not healthy and is not taking care of themselves and is not engaging in self-care, is not taking care of their mental health, that is going to bleed into your therapeutic relationship, into your therapeutic environment. You have to be present, you have to be healthy to be able to provide therapy. And, honestly, that is a big part of why I took a step out of direct care for a little while, because I knew while I was going through my personal things in my life with my divorce and everything like that, I knew I needed to step away from being able to provide direct care so that I can focus on my mental health and my well-being and healing myself without it bleeding through with my clients. Because as you're listening to some of these traumatic experiences, and if a therapist relates to it, it can sort of set them back, right? If they're not necessarily at a place where they're healing or at a place where they're dealing with these certain things. So I think it's important to be self-aware and to recognize those things. And a lot of people, a lot of companies talk about the importance of mental health and Mental Health Awareness Month and all that, but really challenge also your companies, right? If they are preaching these things, but self-care is not something that's important to these agencies, or, they're not kind of practicing what they're preaching, it's important to be able to, speak up if you're comfortable in doing that. But again, having that level of self-awareness and taking some time to be able to engage in things that are going to promote your mental health and wellness and self-care. So mental health is something that in this day and age, with everything going on all over the world, is something that weighs really heavy on a lot of people in society. With so many different things happening in our world right now, it's really hard for folks to not struggle, for folks to not be able to take care of themselves and their needs. And even more so, we lived it in COVID. When COVID-19 happened, it was really difficult for people to be able to take care of themselves, and it did drive a lot of clients to come in, to seek psychiatric help. That was where I was at during COVID, working with folks in the front line and being in a psychiatric hospital. I did see a lot of different dynamics happen during COVID that we necessarily didn't always see all the time, and people seeking help and respite. So that happened, and now we're at a point where there's a lot of political climates, a lot of challenges with wars, with issues related to that and how it's impacting a sense of community. And now we have people that are not just self-aware in terms of their mental health, but people who are also now self-aware in advocacy and the importance of being able to obtain things that are in their right, in their civil rights and their basic rights, right? But some of these things can be exhausting and some of these things can be taxing to our mental health. So I really want folks to think about, what are some of the things that you're doing to take care of yourself? Are you able to take care of these things on your own? Is it time to seek professional help? You know, is it healthy to be on the go all the time for you? Are you feeling that you're on the go all the time? Are you starting to not do some of the things you enjoy? Are you starting to make excuses to stay in your home and self-isolate? Are you seeing patterns of behaviors that are different? Are you seeing issues in your sleep and how it's interfering, you know, with your life and your functioning during the day or at night? And are you comfortable being able to challenge, if you are in therapy, are you comfortable challenging your therapist to learn about some of these things that identify you and your identity so that it can lead your therapeutic environment and relationship? Because these are the things that make your therapeutic healing very, very unique to you. These things are, again, what drive, you know, you. So if you are someone that basically feels, you know, that natural medicine or holistic health relates to you and your culture, maybe you grew up, you know, in an environment where it was okay for you to engage in herbal medicine, or it's something that was a part of your community and it's very true to you. These are things that are okay to be able to talk to your therapist and your, you know, treatment team about, and really have them understand how important it is for you and how you should or want to implement them in your treatment. You know, because you, the clients, are an expert of your experience, right? Or anyone in that therapeutic relationship or environment. You are the person who is experienced. Therapists, counselors, anyone in the mental health profession providing direct care, we are not lawyers. We are not advisors. Our job is strictly to be able to guide our clients to where they want to be, but they choose where they want to go. They choose how they want their life to be. They choose the paths they want to take, and it's our job to be encouraging. It's our job to advocate for them, and most importantly, it's our job to make them feel heard and seen, because those are kind of the folks that we're working with and dealing with. And if you do get someone that is very much strong, right, and it's able to be heard and seen, but definitely struggles to articulate these things, those are folks that can get into therapy too. Therapy is not just something that you can go into when you're really struggling with something. It's also something that you can actually go into for career development, personal development. You know, when things are still good in your life, you can still have therapy and work on some of those things. So there's a lot of different, you know, reasons why people go into therapy. It doesn't necessarily have to be to work on something or fix something, right? So I wanted to kind of just take a little bit of time to honor Mental Health Month and talk about the importance, but also challenging everyone to practice mental health awareness and lead this throughout your life, throughout the year, not just during a month. And take a self-observation, take a look at how you're doing in your life. And if you're feeling like there's things you really are struggling with, please reach out to your supports. Please reach out. Don't be afraid to challenge folks if you do reach out and they're not necessarily providing you with the care you need. And I hope this video was educational for all of you. If you relate to what I have talked about today and you'd love to hear more, please remember to comment, like, and share, and subscribe to my channel, Divine Esme. Bye.